Their lockdown now currently only consisting of telekinesis. So a lot of time being taken on this first pick of the second phase by Team Empire Hope, with Tatake, Lightless, Mastery, Eknart, and James. For Khan, it's Arrow, Knave, Yamich, Cheshire Cat, and Pubber. I think
Radiant team pick.
this is well, Naive just came over to Khan, so I wonder, is this his? I don't think this is his first game with them. Obviously, they would have scrimmed, but take a look really quick with my obviously amazing Googling that's coming out. No, they played GG Bet. Okay, so he's been here. They played GG Bet earlier against Team Unique 2 hours ago, and they won 2-0. So I think that might have been his first game with them. No, he's 5-4 with the team. Okay, so he's been here for a couple series.
Dire team pick.
Disruptor gets picked up. Now you've got the Mirana. Mirana, not a hero you have seen all too often throughout 7.24. But the combo that you could think about, I mean, with the increased Sacred Arrow damage, you get a spear onto a tree, you're a health there, target ready for an arrow to follow up.
10 seconds remaining.
Feels like that could be super deadly. I'd love to see it. Team Empire Hope go into their offlaner of Beastmaster, who will give you some lockdown here with the Primal Roar. Some push potential. Good in lane as well. I like to see a little bit more lockdown here for Team Empire Hope. Again, I'm still thinking mid Medusa with the fact that they took out 2 Diffusal carriers out of this lineup so far. And right now, I mean, from Khan, there's nobody that's going to be picking up a Diffusal, but that's 4 Mirana, 5 Grimstroke, 3 Mars. It's like the first time in a long time that I've been scheduled to cast some CIS Dota. Feels good. I have coffee. I'm ready to go. I'm watching some. This might be a higher Mirana than I thought, with Chen and Grimstroke now being your supports. I thought this would be a 4 Mirana, because usually what you're looking for is the Mirana to roam around, throw some arrows out there. I know we used to see the Sumail Mirana. If we're going to see that here again in this game, or a mid Mirana. Naive is 3 for 4 on Mirana. Last time he played it, though, was September 25th, 2018. So it's certainly been a long time. Yeah, they're not thinking safe lane Mirana as the Terrorblade gets banned by Team Empire Hope. So mid Mirana potentially, which would put it on to Arrow.
10 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Get rid of that Kunkka, and that Kunkka to make sure that the Mirana doesn't get X back, I would say.
Dire team pick.
And the Medusa comes out from Khan. And that was a pick I thought Empire Hope were going to go for. There's a Diffusal carrier here for Empire Hope in the Ricky, but We'll see if Empire Hope have enough. Their lockdown's pretty good. I'd like to see another stun for them.
10 seconds remaining.
Could it be mid-Mars? It could be mid-Mars. CIS does own mid-Mars.
5 seconds remaining.
And there's the TA.
Now select your heroes.
So who's on this Mirana? Four Grimstroke, one Medusa, and yeah, it's a mid Mirana. Arrow is 5-5 with mid Mirana. Last Mirana game coming 5 months ago. And that was just a Face It League matchup. Went 7-7-9. But I'm interested to see how they play with this Mirana. I'm just surprised to see it. That's one of the reasons I like when we see a big patch like this. You get so used to seeing the same heroes, and now, you know, you get to see something a little bit different. So we'll get it rolling here. It's one of the reasons I'd love to have an analyst at this exact moment. Try to break it down myself, but I know sometimes not exactly the best at that.
You die. Yet your failure lives on. Brilliant. Your face.
I realized I had mentioned Sumail on the Mirana as a position 1, but he was mid. I meant core Mirana. Let me backtrack real hard right here. So it's going to be the Safe Flame Mirana, or the Safe Flame Medusa with the mid Mirana and the 3 Mars. And then you've got the 5 Chen, 4 Grimstroke. Tatake on that safe lane. Ricky. Mid TA. Off lane Beastmaster. 4 position Rubik. 5 position Disruptor. So let's see how this goes. It's been a while. I feel like I haven't cast anything in like forever. But forever for me is like 2 days. I regress hard and fast. I'm interested to see this Mirana against the TA too, especially. Use arrow to secure your range creep. See how the Mirana is able to play up against this Templar Assassin.
Seconds to battle.
I'm excited to see the potential combo of just a spear into an arrow, or an arrow into a spear. Either one really setting you up quite nastily.
The battle begins.
So here we are, first game ready to go. Tatake over towards top. Boo joined here by the Disruptor, who has 3 mangoes, so ready to throw out harassment with that Thunder Strike in the off lane. For the Dire, we've got the Rubik as well as the Beastmaster. Rubik, you holding any mangoes? No, just straight Bassi. So Bassi boots want. So I'm ready to see how this goes mid for Arrow. Arrow not taking anything just yet, holding on to that level 1 skill. And yeah, there's the arrow. So you secure the range creep with the arrow as often as you can, which will be the way it's going to get used here for now. And then I would say roaming, your opportunities are going to come top, where if you can get a spear out, lock down someone, follow it up with an arrow, or even just lead with an arrow, get a spear afterwards. If you're, hit with an arrow in the middle of the lane, you're going to get speared to a tree, almost guaranteed. For right now, Mars is doing well, 6-2. And of course, even talking about the combo of the arrow as well as the spear, what these 2 heroes can do with the Mirana as well as the Mars. It's a Medusa that is looking for time. Naive, I remember seeing Naive at Epicenter XL the last time I was out on a LAN, and he was just a stellar player. And it's interesting to see where he's come in his career right now. I feel like he's one of those guys who can, with the right team, really break out. Not certain Khan will be the team that he breaks out with, but he's certainly a very, highly skilled player, and I'm excited to watch him play because he was one of the most exciting players at that event a couple years back.
Out of my way!
Taking a look mid again. Sideblades almost kill Arrow for first blood. Lightless going into the salve. Arrow just kind of sitting here. Dangerously close to, potentially having that TA just jump on you and throw a quick shot and dive the tower. But now level 2 into the Starstorm, level 1 into the Leap. You have yourself an escape. Grimstroke over top getting low, but as is Eknart. Look at the kill there onto the Disruptor. They'll look over at Yamich. They'll at least trade. Tatake gets one, but Cheshire Cat does claim first blood. So a quick trade towards top, and the lane quiets down once again. But over mid, this Mirana getting heavily out CS. Lightless 19-3 to the 9-3 of this Mirana. Taking a couple of hard shots again. And Arrow is sitting here without regen. Finally he gets a salve shipped over. Little Amazon Prime action on that one, but Fairy Fire, Lightless, avoids the arrow, and now that'll force back the TA enough to get a salve off and continue to stay in the lane. But things getting rough. I mean, this is, at least right now, Lightless dominating Arrow over mid on this Mirana, and already back down to about half health, shipping out a third salve. Leap forward with the Starstorm, trying to make things happen. Arrow thrown forward, but that's not going to do enough. Arrow ends up dead, outplays himself in a way. Salve pop by Lightless to pick up that 4-minute power rune as the change has come here in 7.25, and it's a double damage to start. Meanwhile, top, tricks of the trade. Tatake looking over at Yamich. Kinetic Field will lock Yamich in. Got the Ink Swell. They were looking to maybe turn this onto the Riki. He had stayed a little bit too long. Might have been locked down enough to get a spear out for the Mars onto a tree and end up throwing forward a God's Rebuke to get the kill. Strike. Yamich takes some damage. There's a Stroke of Fate on Eknart. Spear lands onto a tree. An easy closing kill there for Cheshire Cat. So even here at 2, just about 5 minutes into the game. But again, you take a look over mid, a 2-1 CS advantage for Lightless at the moment. getting beat level-wise. Arrow to try and secure the range creep. Lightless kind of stands right in front of that, eats the arrow, and then turns around a bit of damage towards Arrow himself. And this is going to be a fast build up here for Lightless. I wonder if it's still the same build. It probably should be. Treads into the Deso Blink. And despite the huge outpacing over mid, it's just about a 1,000 net worth lead for Khan. You take a look at the Medusa, who's 34 and 15 compared to the Ricky's 20 and 3. The Beastmaster is behind this Mars, so the only lane that's really going, excruciatingly well is mid for Team Empire Hope, and that could be quite scary because, Mirana could recover with just one rotation, spear arrow combo again, like we talked about, and get a couple of kills. Arrow with quick D-ward there. Boar comes over. Just to hang out, I guess. Doesn't throw any shots over at Arrow, and I think maybe the difference maker there. Do have the Blightstone picked up on Lightless. Does pick up those treads. Looking towards another Glove of Haste. Got two hands, you might as well use them. So the trade comes out. Stroke of Fate misses Tatake. Had that hit, I don't think he dies anyway. He's got Blink Strike ready to retreat with. You take a look at Arrow. He's been sent back to base. All he's got is 2 Wraith Bands to work with. This opens up the lane for Lightless. And yeah, there it is. It's going to be the Desolator coming in first for the TA. And I assume the Blink BKB, the standard build right now for the Templar Assassin. Who, yeah, I mean, is farming really well. But again, it's just the splits that come in the other lanes from the Medusa to the Mars over to the Beastmaster and the Ricky. So at least some shining light here for Khan that, is around in the other lanes that, because it's fading so quickly over mid. Mirana jumping forward. Arrow gets a kill there onto Mastery. And I guess as long as his lane opponent isn't the Templar Assassin, Arrow's okay. And now moving forward, potentially looking for a kill here on Eknart, lands the Arrow. They've got the Starstorm and a double kill for Arrow. This puts him right back into it over mid. Getting heavily out CS. Now Tatake. He sits level 6, alive for now. Cheshire Cat, no mana to throw a God's Rebuke. Tatake, dusted, tricks of the trade. Now the Inkswell, they'll try to catch him. Stroke of Fate lands. Yamich winding it up a couple of times to get that kill, but then over mid, the side of Khan will lose Arrow as he gets back-to-back kills, but Lightless comes over to ruin the fun.
Radiant's middle tower is under
So we take a look, we see the TA sitting top of the net worth right now, already has one of the Mithril Hammers on the way, and just 1,400 gold away from picking up this second one. Arrow comes back over, traps there, slows him down. 2 levels ahead for the TA, and the gold is favorable right now for Khan, but the experience favorable for Team Empire Hope. 60-40 in Khan's favor. For the Ricky, yeah, it's got to be treads into the defusal. They need to be able to deal with this Medusa, especially that mana shield in a way. He's going into the Manta style to start. We'll see where it's at afterwards. I think we've seen a couple of Medusas go like Manta BKB, or not Manta BKB, Manta into the Divine, which is disgusting.
Swiftly to the temple's defense.
The Medusa is free farming now, getting ahead of the Templar Assassin, grabbing this stack. I believe it was like a 3-stack or so. And it's going to continue to extend this net worth lead now at a 2,000 rate here for Khan. Arena of Blood coming in from Cheshire Cat. They're locked in, but they've got the Blink Strike. Should get the kill onto the Mars, but the Spear lands. Mastery comes over, has 2 boars, gets the kill onto the Mars, uses the Primal Roar on the Yamage, throws a Stroke of Fate. Does fall. But it's after Yamage goes down, and a good rotation there from Mastery. A good job not wasting the Primal Roar onto the Mars, the first target he saw. He actually walked right past him and went for the Primal Roar onto the Grimstroke, making sure that they could secure that kill. So a nice move over. Pubber. Picking up the map.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Take a look at the Murano with 2 Wraith Bands going into a wand. Does have those treads on Agi, and over on the Ricky finishes off his treads, and now he's working in on the Diffusal Blade, which he's already got enough gold there for the Blade of Alacrity. Not certain with just the Diffusal Blade if that will be the timing in which they move. They do have the Desolator getting delivered here to Lightless, so by the time he gets the Diffusal Blade, it might be as well, you know, the timing lining up where Lightless gets, say, a Blink Dagger, if that's the plan here for the TA, and not just into the BKB, and it does look like the Blink. Sometimes you'll see a Blink passed up for a BKB early on, but in this moment it is that Blink Dagger, and TA's sitting right now ahead of the Medusa. Naive does have this Yasha, continuing to farm Ancients, continuing to stack these Ancients.
Radiant are scanning.
Take a look at Tatake continuing to farm. The rotation coming in from Empire Hope. They've smoked. They'll actually get their smoke broken by the Medusa. Primal Roar keeps them inside the kinetic field. They do have a Static Storm to drop on top of Naive, which they finally do, but the Telekinesis pulls them out of it. Not exactly good communication there from Empire Hope. Light Shadow out. The damage done by Naive. Enough to get the kill onto Eknart. And now Tricks of the Trade from Tatake, who's on the backlines getting Pubber's Courier. The Spear comes in onto the Templar Assassin. They've locked down Lightless. They've got him surrounded. They should be able to get the kill, and will. Arrow won't lose his life beforehand, and it's again gone wrong for Team Empire Hope. They're the ones playing the aggressive line there, and, well, they end up paying for it dearly. They end up going for the Medusa after the smoke gets broken. And again, I want to reiterate the point, as you guys might have seen, Medusa is centered on that Static Storm, but it ends up being that with the Telekinesis, Naive was kind of helped out and away from it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire
So it's only 1,000 net worth lead here for Khan.
Radiant's bottom tower
I was kind of getting singled out in that exchange, and that's really what does it there for the TA. I think with the rest of the team around, potentially that Lightless survives, but once they were able to surround Lightless, Khan easily secure the kill. Is it a blink? Yeah, okay. It is a Blink Dagger for Cheshire Cat on this Mars. So initiation with the blink as well, you know, going into the arena.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
You've got level 7 on Grimstroke, who's gone heavy into the Inkswell. Does not take the Soulbind just yet.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Holding points for now. Necro 1. Out onto the Beastmaster, then going into the Medallion. We'll see if it's a finishing of the Necro into the Necro 3 or Solar Crest potentially next. Medusa a couple hundred gold away from picking up this Manta style. Arrow, meanwhile, the build-up is into a Manta. Arrow going Yasha himself, so you'll have multiple Mantas out for the side of Khan. Bam Brace here for the Beastmaster. Let's take a look at the neutral items. Just really quickly. No tier 2s yet for Khan, but now they've picked up the Grove Bow, which could sit pretty here on the TA. Who does, in fact, switch from that Blink Dagger to the BKB. So after that fight, realizing that she might be a little bit better off getting that BKB. Does have herself into the Mythor Hammer. There's the Blink. That was just finished by Cheshire Cat. Doesn't quite care that he was glimpsed back. He already has the lockdown out. Now, trying to TP away, though, is the Beastmaster, and he's successful to just TP and leave. Nothing else doing there for the side of Khan. So let's see, Naive. Is it going to be Manta into the Divine Rapier?
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
No, it'll be into the Butterfly. Not too shocking. Meanwhile, Ricky going into the Diffusal Blade. I believe that's getting shipped out to him now. The TA just 600 gold away from finishing off this BKB.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Beastmaster saved up a bit more gold. We'll see if he turns that into a Necro 3. Arrow, Manta, Hurricane Pike. Okay. Impa picked up. Sent back, and now over James. Stroke of Fate hits him. He tries to steal this outpost. Holds the line on that. A free exit there as Eknar turns for a second. Arrow a little bit wide, but close. They've got the haste on Arrow, although playing yourself. Static Storm, Kinetic Field, Blink Strike forward. Arrow survives, has the haste, so they won't chase.
Radiant's top tower is under
Arrow's
attack.
heart must have been going a mile a minute there.
Dire's
Which
middle tower is under attack.
only translates to 60 miles an hour, so the speed limit on most highways. Smoke from Empire Hope. No rotate towards top. Eva's up here. He's trying to look ready to fight. Stone Gaze gets used. Lightless moves over. They've got the Kinetic Field as well as the Telekinesis. Now back towards the other side of the fight. They've got the Blink Strike forward from the Ricky. Looking to get the kill on the Yamich. Yamich ends up dead. They miss the Spear. Tatake, though. He'll end up falling. Now they look over. Back in the Medusa. They've got him without mana, and they'll get the kill. So they'll happily give up Tatake to get this kill onto Naive, as well as getting that tier 1 tower. He singles out the rest of the team. They start to commit onto the Ricky, but that leaves Medusa all by himself. And Empire Hope block up the kill, and they take their net worth lead, or first net worth lead here of the game. They move into Roche right afterwards. Not certain that Khan can get in on this one. They're not even going to try to. Minus armor up plenty here for Empire Hope to lock down this Roche. Vlad's for the Mars. I want to see if he goes Axe. I would be excited to see it. 3.5 seconds. 270% damage. Seems good to me. Static Storm. They've got TA now. They'll kill the Aegis. They look over as Disruptor gets speared to the tree, and now they look as the TA pops the BKB, hit with the Soulbind. A lot of damage being done. Lightless trying to TP out just in time. Inkswell, no blink for Mars. So unable to close the gap. They get the first life out of the hands of the TA. They get the kill there onto the Disruptor. They do end up losing the Chen. You can see how quickly they can just rip through this TA, and meanwhile, we'll end up killing Rubik behind the Tier 1 tower.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Naive low on mana. They've gotten the glimpse. They have the kinetic field, but good job there by Naive
Dire's middle tower is under
to
attack.
dodge that. Clap. That's pretty good. Plays like that always impress me, because I would never make them. So, 2,000 net worth lead here for Empire Hope. Going into the data list next for the TA. So, has the Blink, has the BKB, as well as the Desolator. Lined up with the items that we usually see before a Templar Assassin activates. And we've seen some trouble here for the TA. On top of that, you know, with the BKB, it's only been used once. We'll see if she can make something more of it, or Flightless can make something more of it. Trying to deal as much damage as possible now going into this data list. We'll see if he's got enough help to really start locking down these heroes on Khan. We saw how quickly they can run through a Medusa with the proper positioning from their team, and you know, with Tatake zoning out the rest of the side of Khan. But 5v5 straight up, I feel like it's something we've kind of yet to see.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
So they get the steal on the arrow, which the arrow is level 4. And when a Rubik grabs this, you need to be worried, because the max stun is no longer 5.
Dire's top
It's
tower
it's
is
much
under
bigger than
attack.
that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
A little bit of complacency here between both teams, continuing to farm. A lot of pressure on from Empire as they take over the Radiant jungle. You can see that Khan are kind of forced to maintain themselves over on the top end of the map. At the top end of their jungle. Looks like they're going to smoke. Got a sentry down. They have a smoke in the pocket of Pubber, and they've got a smoke here for Grimstroke. I wouldn't be surprised. Medusa just a bit off of this butterfly, just 400 gold. Waiting for a while on this one. They're just kind of standing stationary, not farming, not really doing much of anything. It looked like that they were sitting here ready to smoke. The decision came out a while ago while this is happening, though, and while they're thinking about this, it seems like Empire Hope are continuing to farm. Empire Hope are working on those next items. You've got the Ricky, who's got the BKB coming over on the courier. You have the Templar Assassin who's finished off the Crystallis, and meanwhile you're trying to sit high ground, maybe hoping that somebody comes over, or in fact that you are trying to smoke. Blink, Spear missing now. Static Storm committed, so Eknard's kind of already used the kit. But the arrow comes in from the Rubik, and they're gonna lock down this Mars forever, it seems like. Soulbind locks down the Ricky to the TA, but the BKBs are popped by both heroes into the Stone Gaze. They'll look. They don't get stoned over, but now they'll continue to jump forward to try and get these heroes on the side of Khan. They get the Primal Roar out onto the Medusa. A lot of mana to break through, as well as a lot of damage to be done here to get the kill into the Medusa. They look over at Mastery. They'll get the kill into the Beastmaster. Yamich ends up falling on the side of Khan. They turn this around. Lightless, as well as the Ricky, have already used that BKB. Tatake needs to be careful. They've got the Sentry down the Blink Strike to get away. Naive, low on mana. Can they turn this? James, he's got Arrow to throw once again, so you need to be careful moving forward from the side of Khan. Tatake and the rest of Empire Hope. I mean, for a moment, they look like that they're just going to retreat, but I feel like they're looking for a glimpse into an arrow. They still have it here for the Rubik, and it is that combination that could certainly lock down a hero on Khan for long enough. So, Empire Hope continue to extend that lead. 5,000 net worth lead here for them. Enchanted Quiver for the TA.
The prize is mine.
And now a repair kit, which, in the grand scheme of it, is good to hold the high ground for Khan. Try to get Medusa to these next items, as it will be a Scotty. It's not going to be that Medusa Divine Rapier build. Yeah, if I was Rubik, I'd be doing the same. Steel Mana Shield. Probably really don't want to use it. Find something else quickly enough. They'll move over. They've got the Arena of Blood out onto the Beastmaster. They have the damage to get the kill. Arena stays up for quite some time. Mastery on the run. Starstorm forward. Arrow doing a lot of damage, almost killing himself.
Should have run while they had that chance.
Killed a Necro Creep and brought himself down to 200 health. But they find the Medusa all by himself. Naive now on the run. One more shot. It will land, and you lose Mastery, but you take out the Medusa. Feels good. Again, it's one of those trades you're willing to take.
What weathermancery is this?
They also end up getting Arrow here. Tatake just jumping forward. Get the smoke screen down, and now all of a sudden you're not, not available to leap away. And a couple of big substantial kills for Empire Hope. Medusa not feeling as strong as we've seen Medusas in the past, and this Mirana really, the impact has been lightly felt, all things considered. Instead of going into the Daedalus, it will be the MKB here for the Templar Assassin to deal with this butterfly on the Medusa. Still gonna look for the Scotty. Just Vlad's for the Chen. We've already got Vlad's on the Mars. Yeah, so we'll swap it over to the Ghost Scepter. Necro 2, close to the Necro 3. Just has to get it shipped over. And you can see how quickly they can just rip through the Medusa, and going for a Divine Rapier would have been probably the wrong call there.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And quite honestly, that probably would have lost them the game. So it's good that they didn't go that direction. But now the Butterfly getting nullified a bit by the fact that they've got the MKB on the Templar Assassin.
Radiant's top tower
And then going back into the Daedalus. So this Medusa doesn't really feel as strong as we've seen in other games where we've seen Medusas kind of run away with it, and off that it just feels as though that Empire Hope have kind of picked wisely to go up against this and itemized really well for it. You've got the Diffusal Blade that's pretty standard on the Ricky, so that's not like an itemization choice. But the early MKB was going into the Daedalus. I like the move here from the Templar Assassin, and the draft overall seems really nice to me here too from Empire Hope, where you've got the control of the Telekinesis as well as Kinetic Field, Static Storm to really help out, and the Primal Roar, which you can move in on and initiate with that Blink Dagger for the Beastmaster. So they know how to focus this Medusa, they know how to get the kill really easily, and forces Medusa into a bit of a different build, but one used to be a bit more standard.
Shadows, take us.
Moonlight Shadow, Glimpse, Spear, Inkswell. They're going to try and stay on the Disruptor. The Inkswell will pop. They'll get the kill. Naive gets credit for that one. Within the Moonlight Shadow, they'll come over to James, who gets the blink away and gets the steal there before he's found out. Gets that Stroke of Fate. Fate hits onto the Grimstroke, and a two-shot coming in from Lightless. They'll also get the Observer, where they've got the Arena of Blood down. They'll look over at Mastery. They'll get the kill. That's only onto the Beastmaster, though. They've already lost themselves the Grimstroke. They turn over onto Tatake, who's trying to run. The sentries are down. It's about to run out. They need to move in on quick. But Tatake able to leave. He was also dusted. So, a quick escape there with the Blink Strike. Gets out of the hands of Khan. They do get the kill there on to Mastery. They've taken out the Disruptor earlier. They lose the Grimstroke, and that's it. So fighting, but fragile is where Khan's at. Style finally picked up here for the Ricky. Marana, meanwhile, going into that Hurricane Pike, does have the Manta. That was that first item. And a 5-man smoke coming in from Empire Hope. Now they're going to work with Mastery having that blink. Doesn't have Primal Roar for 12, though, so they might wait a couple seconds before moving in, or they'll have it in the middle of the fight, so they might just jump it anyway. And they get seen on that smoke. Going to Roche, drop down the sentry, naive. Move forward. Cheshire Cat does have the blink as well as the arena. Primal Roar gets used. They'll take out Arrow immediately. They've got the Static Storm down as well as the Kinetic Field. They do so low on mana and getting low in general. Blasted away. They got the kill into the Marana as well as the Medusa. They'll look over at Yamich. They'll take themselves out a third. Now the Mars tries to leave. Unable to do so. Make it a fourth. Can it be a fifth? No, we can't. Chen just gets the TP away, and that is an easy fight here for the side of Empire Hope. Just overwhelming. And the Medusa, again, I don't know how, and I'm sorry for reiterating the point so many times, does not feel like a threat. 18,000 net worth. Wiped off the face of whatever planet this is in a matter of seconds.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
So they'll take the tier 2 over mid. They'll work this tier 3. Yamich, my camera not quick enough to spot him dying yet again. I believe he just got one shot by that TA. A lot of physical real fast. And this 4 Protect 1 is really not working out. They'll steal the arrow. They'll get the Solar Crest now. Even more minus armor here from the side of Team Empire Hope. Cheshire Cat trying to make a play with a Blink Spear. Similar to the Magnus plays we used to see with the Blink Skewer to bring somebody into the base. Screen arrow lands onto the Chen. They've got the Dust Spear hits onto the Rubik, but they've got the Primal Roar to lock up this Mars. They'll get the kill there onto the Chen. They'll look over the Mars onto the low ground. They'll get the kill on the Cheshire Cat as well as Yamich. Now they look over at Arrow. They'll leap onto the high ground, but they'll get the glimpse back, which is avoided via the Manta. Bought back on the Chen. Empire Hope continue to just break through this Khan lineup. Arrow hits onto the Templar Assassin, trying to do some damage from a distance. Telekinesis, Kinetic Field, Static Storm down onto the Medusa. Tatake behind them. They've got the Spear out on to this Chen. They get the kill there on a Lightless as well as James. Now they'll look over to try and get this kill on Tatake. Looks over at Pubber, who just fought back, so he's dead for 75 seconds without buyback. Now they'll take out the Ricky, or will they? A couple more shots as well as the tower shot, not enough. Solar Crest from Mastery enough to keep him alive. Somehow the Ricky escapes. Stroke of Fate, not enough distance on it. Killing off the TA as well as the Rubik. All of a sudden, signs of life. Damage just a puddle. Arrow might be joining him in the afterlife. Primal Roar will secure that to Take with the double damage. Now this is a very easy kill, especially with that Solar Crest. Now taking away that 8 armor and just ripping through Arrow, who, again, 7 kills, yes. But I wouldn't say presence felt.
What a bounty!
I mean, the same can be said here for the Medusa. Certainly the entire team overall. Force staff from James gets the telekinesis out. Now he's got the bulwark. Cheshire Cat trying to leave, but they had glimpse, and now Cheshire Cat will just
Radiant's middle
look
barracks
his
are
death
under
down
attack.
right into the eyes.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
This Medusa does have the Scotty going into the data list. Nullifier picked up for the Ricky. Move forward, telekinesis from the low ground, all the way on the Yamich, and he basically just gets two-shot there by Tatake. Not even safe on your own high ground, and that's a bit of an issue. March step for 20 seconds, so is the Grimstroke for 35. They got the Static Storm down on the Medusa. They look over at the Ricky who's gone in a little bit too far, but I believe that this is James using a Stone Gaze of his own. Hubber ends up dead. The BKB's going to be popped here by Lilas. Naive trying to fight this. They've got the Aegis out of the hands of the Ricky. Ricky now turning this back around onto Naive. Lilas sitting in the meld. They don't have vision of the TA, so now they're turning this around on the Medusa with Arrow trying to help. They've got themselves the Arena of Blood as well as the Spear coming through and hitting on the Tatake. They've got the 10-kill spree taken out. And again, in some ways, they hold. 16,000 net worth lead here for the side of Team Empire Hope.
Mysteries renew me.
And again, a bit of an overstep from Empire Hope, but I feel like they thought that that was going well with the stolen Stone Gaze.
Radiant are scanning. Dire's middle tower
Data
is
list
under
soon
attack.
here for Naive. Arrow over bottom going into the Mjolnir, has the Hurricane Pike. 5,000 net worth behind this Ricky, who is in the safe lane, who is being beaten by the Medusa by 5,000. So, I mean, at least these top four kind of evens out, but not really. Beastmaster with the Necro 3 has the Solar Crest. He's going into an Orchid. So we get a quick pause here. Just remember, if you hold Alt and click on the Glyph of Fortification, you will inform your team of its current status. Tell your team not to use Glyph. Hold both Control and Alt while clicking on the Glyph. Remember, let's take a look at some other tips. Anything that's going to help us here. Normal attacks have a backswing animation that plays after the attack point. Any order will cancel this backswing animation, and I don't know why I'm reading sentences not in full, but can be used to chase after a target more quickly. Neutral creeps with a slam ability will only use it when 3 or more valid targets are in range. No longer need your neutral item? Right click it, teleport it to your team's neutral item stash for an ally to use. If you know you're about to die, consider entering a neutral creep camp or going to Roshan and letting them kill you instead. This will deny the enemy team the golden experience earned from your death. Let's look for a good one. Creep denies give 20% of their gold bounty to the denier.
This will come back to you.
And we're on the go again. So Crystal is picked up here for the Medusa. Has enough gold for the Demon Edge. Just about. Oh, NA math peeking its way through there. 2,200 is more than 2,000. But now he's got enough for it, so I just spoke too early. We're good. And just 1,000 gold needed to finish off this recipe. They're going to try and sneak this outpost. James again holding the line on that. But Mastery over bottom. Do they have the lockdown to get this? They'll show Naive an arrow with an Inkswell blink forward. Well, they won't be able to catch him. Now the Ag's picked up on the Disruptor. This is the most sought out item here for Eknart, as he's gone treads right into the Ags, and now they'll smoke. This could be quite the game changer.
Radiant are scanning.
I don't think Naive should be the one taking this. Yeah, okay. Static Storm, Kinetic Field, Naive in trouble. We got the BKBs used. They'll get the kill on the Medusa. Dead for 99 seconds without buyback. Now they will go over Yamage. They'll get themselves a second Hubber. Trying to TP away. The Stolen Moonlight Shadow. Arrow's dead. 3 without buyback. I don't understand the mindset there of your most important hero going for the outpost.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Empire Hope, they ripped through these buildings. I mean, Medusa not back for a minute.
Radiant's bottom.
They have a repair kit. They just
Radiant's bottom.
can't step forward enough to use it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
No glyph. Try to buy some time. Medusa and Mirana back up the same time in 40 seconds. First tier 4 goes down. Second tier 4 to follow. Empire Hope. All they got to do is finish off the game. They'll try to hold with the repair kit as well as the Arena of Blood. They've got the Arena down. The spear hits onto the Ricky. Tatake getting a little bit low. The Soulbind is out, but they don't have the damage to follow it up without the Medusa or the Mirana. Stroke of Fate, BKB, repair kit not enough, and Team Empire Hope will take game 1. So, again, it just seems like the positioning there from Naive was just not right. I don't understand why he's the one in front at that moment in time. To me, it seems like it was clearly the wrong decision. I don't know if I'm being too critical there on all of Khan, but, I mean, that loses them the game. As it looked like there was some hope there for them to come back after that exchange prior. So, Team Empire Hope take game 1. Khan now in trouble of going down 0-2. And Yamich 1-11-11. Just not the greatest game for him as a Grimstroke. Take a look over at Team Empire Hope. 16-3 there for Tatake. Lightless 12-2 after dominating the lane. Eknart, despite going 0-7-17, farmed enough to get himself an egg, so he was more had more net worth than the Grimstroke as well as the Chen. He was happy with his life, and James did a very good job. There's a couple times where he stole things very important to the team fights to favor them and helped lock it down here for Team Empire Hope in game 1. So we'll be back with game 2 in just a moment. I'm your caster Bkop at Bkop92 on Twitter. Follow me to know when I'm casting, and we'll be back in a second. Stay right there.